Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the Enrich Education Physical Phonics webinar. My name's Keith McDowell and I'm Project Development Manager at Enrich Education. We're delighted that so many schools have been able to take part in the session today. Just a few words about Enrich Education. Enrich Education are the largest provider of bespoke school orienteering courses, cross-curricular outdoor learning resources and training in the UK. And we've been delivering our cross-curricular outdoor learning programmes for the past 5 years. And this, along with our other services and products we provide, speak to our mission, which is to provide creative and innovative solutions for schools that encourage all young people to be physically active. We're one of the Youth Sports Trust partners, a business associate of the Association for Physical Education, and we've gained Thirst for Sport endorsements. So today I'm going to talk about why you might consider incorporating opportunities for physical activity and outdoor learning into your teaching of phonics. To introduce you to the Enrich Education Physical Phonics resource that we've recently developed, and to share some examples of active phonics games that should give you some ideas about how you could incorporate physical activity into your phonics programme. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items before we start. If I could ask people to turn off the video and sound if they have on their devices so that it doesn't interfere with the sound quality of the presentation. And we will have a chat function during the webinar. My colleague John McBride's here with me, and he'll aim to respond to some of the queries that are raised on chat during the course of the webinar. We'll also be staying on after the webinar to respond to queries or comments that come up on the chat. So you'll have another opportunity to use the chat after the webinar finishes. We've had a really good response to our webinar today, so do please bear with us if we can't get back to you today. However, we will respond to everyone who contacts us, and we'll make every effort to do this as promptly as possible. Hopefully we won't be having any problems with technology today, but if we do, please bear in mind that we will be emailing a full recording of this webinar together with all the resources that we discuss to everyone who attends. And do watch your email because we'll be having a draw to select one of our participants to win the physical phonics pack that we're going to be introducing to you today. Okay, so let's start by thinking about why it might be a good idea to incorporate physical activity and outdoor learning into your phonics programme. Well, firstly, as you'll all know well, phonics is taught at a very rapid pace, with children covering a great deal of content throughout the foundation stage and key stage 1. Incorporating active games and outdoor activities into phonics gives children opportunities to revisit, practice and apply knowledge and skills that they've been introduced to through their school's existing phonics programme, so that their learning becomes more secure. It gives children alternative ways of applying their phonics skills and knowledge in different contexts, and it provides opportunities for kinesthetic learning. And finally, it creates more opportunities to get children physically active, helping schools achieve the challenging targets set by DFE for time children need to spend on physical activity, but most importantly, providing all of the physical and mental well-being that children get from physical activity and from taking learning outdoors, something which will be particularly important as children return from lockdown. So the aim of the Enrich Education Physical Phonics Pack is to provide schools with a resource that enables them to combine their phonics teaching with opportunities for children to get physically active, including taking learning outdoors. The pack is intended to supplement and complement, not replace, schools' existing phonics programs. So it's not linked to any specific phonics program or scheme. Teachers can adapt most of the games to deliver whatever letters or combinations of letters will fit in with the phonics programme that their school uses and with the needs of their children. And the games and activities should be easy to fit in to your existing timetable in whatever way suits you and your class. There are over 40 different phonics games and activities in the pack, covering all the main elements of phonics skills and knowledge, and giving teachers a substantial resource bank that they can select from. The aim is to give teachers lots of variety and choice, so you can select games that suit the needs of your children at any one time. The games are also versatile. They're not linked to delivering a specific set of letters or combinations of letters or to a particular sequence, so teachers can use the same game on a number of occasions, which hopefully you'll see when we demonstrate some of the games later. Most of the games can also be adapted to play with small groups as well as whole class, which should help with differentiation and means that they could also be used as part of a phonics catch-up programme. We tried to make the physical phonics games and activities as simple as possible to set up and play. The games are designed to be straightforward and they should be easy for children to play. Building physical activity into phonics teaching doesn't necessarily require any specialist resources. It can be achieved by using generic resources, most of which will be readily available from your school's existing stocks. However, our physical phonics pack also includes a range of photocopyable resources, including letter cards, diagraph cards, word cards, and picture cards to help make preparation as quick and easy as possible for teachers. We've done some simple animations of games to give you ideas for the sorts of ways that you can use to introduce more physical activity into your phonics teaching, and also to give you the flavour of the sort of games that are included in our physical phonics pack. And I'm going to talk you through some of these now. So the first game we're going to look at is a rhyme game. And this is a game to help children hear and recognise rhyme. And it's based on the simple idea of children matching rhyming objects or pictures. That's the session plan in the physical phonics pack, but we've done a simple animation to illustrate how the game works. Obviously, there will be more children playing the game than in our animation. Children are in teams, or you could play the game with one group. There are 2 hoops in front of each team. In hoop 1, there's a set of pictures or objects. In hoop 2, there's another set which has rhyming matches with the objects or pictures in the first hoop. So the child at the front of the team runs, takes a picture from the first hoop, runs to the second hoop, and has to find a picture or an object that's a rhyming match. They then run back to the team with their rhyming pair. So in this case, cat and hat. When all of the children have collected a rhyming pair, there's an opportunity at the end of the game for the teacher to get the whole group to check some of the pairs that the children have chosen. The game isn't linked to any particular set of rhyming words, so you could play the game on different occasions with different sets of words, and you can select the words that suit your children and the resources that you have. There are pictures that you can use in the resource section of our pack, but you could also use sets of rhyming picture cards or objects that you already have in school. Like a lot of games in the pack, you can also enhance the physical activity elements of this game by, for example, asking children to hop or skip rather than run between the hoops, or by getting children who are waiting for their turn to do some star jumps or make body shapes and so on. The next game that we're going to look at is a letter recognition game. So it involves children matching a letter with a phoneme from the name of an object or picture. It'll probably work best with sets of 4 to 6 different letters, and it's up to you as the teacher to select whatever set of letters you want to use. It's another team game, but again, could equally work well played by one group. So we have large letters at points around the playing area. The child at the front of the team runs and collects an object or picture from the hoop in front of their team. They have to think about the phoneme at the start of their word, start of the name of the object or picture, and then find the letter which spells that phoneme and run to stand by it. Then the next child runs and takes an object or a letter and repeats. Like a lot of games in the pack, you could introduce an element of competition to this game and have the team which is the first one with all their children standing by a letter to be the winner. But you can also play it non-competitively. And again, you could have some follow-up discussion at the end of the game where you check some of the children's letters and pictures with the whole group and make sure that they're standing next to the correct letter. The game could be used with any set of letters that you, as the teacher, want to reinforce. The example we've just shown looks at linking initial phonemes in the name of objects and pictures with letters, but this game could work equally well matching, for example, medial vowels with letters or final consonants with letters. So again, it's a versatile game that you could use on a number of occasions, depending on which letters you want to practice or which phonics skills you want to reinforce. You could differentiate this game by, for example, increasing the number of letters around the playing area and maybe asking some of the teams to look for the letter which matches the medial vowel in the name of their object or picture, rather than the initial consonant. You could use your school's existing large letter cards for this game, but we also have a set of large letters in the resource pack. And we also have a set of objects, a set of pictures of objects and animals that you could use to play this game with. But again, you could equally use or combine with resources that you already have in your school. And again, you could enhance the physical activity element in this game by adapting the way children move, for example, by asking them to bunny hop to the hoop or to collect their card or object. I've just got one question that's come up on Slack. Do the resources and activities follow the phases from letters and sounds? What I'd say with that is they do fit in with the phases from letters and sounds, but they don't have to be used with letters and sounds. And if your school uses a different phonics program, this resource would work equally well with that. So it's a resource that works with different phonics programs. It does work with letters and sounds, but it's not exclusive to letters and sounds, if that makes sense. Do they come as a cursive font? Not at this stage. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on with the next slide, which is a game about digraphs. So this is a game to help children secure their knowledge of consonant digraphs, either at the beginning or at the end of words. Sorry, just going back to that last question on the chat, our resources don't come as cursive font, but as I've mentioned, these games can easily be played by resources that you have in your school, so you can use your school's own letter card. So if you want to use a cursive font, that will work fine with these games. So this game's about digraphs, and that's the activity in our physical phonics pack. What you can see is children each have a letter card from a selection that can be used to spell different consonant digraphs. So you have a large group of children moving around the playing area, and the teacher calls out a word, which in this case has a consonant digraph at the end. Children who have one of the letters from that digraph have to find the child with the other letter and then run and sit down with them at the edge of the playing area. The rest of the children then continue to move around until the teacher calls out a word which has a different digraph at the end. You could increase the challenge in this game by limiting the time children have to find the other letter. So for example, from counting down from 10 to 0. You could also vary how children move around the playing area by, for example, asking them to make animal movements or by skipping or striding. You could use this game to focus on consonant digraphs at the beginning of words, at the end of words, or both at the same time. So it's another versatile game that you could use on different occasions. To save time, we've included a list of words that you could use to play this game in the session plan in our pack. But it isn't in the resource pack, I should say, in our physical phonics pack. But it isn't linked to any specific words, and teachers are free to use whichever words they want. Okay. This is a game that involves children reading whole words. We've called it a tricky words game because you could, for example, use it to help children recognise high frequency words that are more difficult to get using phonics. But you could also play the game with any other set of words. So, for example, it could be used to give children practice in reading CVC words to develop more fluency. So the game is based on a game that sometimes you played at children's parties. Children sit in a circle and each child has a word card. If you have a larger group, you probably have 3 or 4 cards of each of the words that you've chosen to use on this game. So the teacher calls a word and the children with that word have to stand up, run around the circle and sit down again as quickly as possible. So children are focused on reading the word that they're holding. Children could have to sit down in the same place or run once around the circle and then sit down in a different place than the one they started from. The teacher could also close up one of the spaces while children are running so that the child who can't find a space in time will be out of the game. And after a couple of goes, if the teacher asks the children to pass their word to the next person in the circle, the words that they read have frequent changes. And of course, increasing the size of the circle will increase the amount of running that children have to do. Okay, the next game that we're going to look at is another game that involves children needing to read whole words and so reinforces their blending skills. So they need to read words so that they can find and capture the correct ones. The children are divided into 2 groups. The class of children or the whole group of children is divided into 2 groups. Group 1 each have a word card and stand in space in the playing area. Group 2 are divided into teams. Each team has a ball. The teacher calls out one of the words that Group 1 children are holding, and the child at the front of their team has to find a Group 1 child who is holding that word. They roll the ball between their legs to capture them and take them back to their team. If they do this quickly, they might be able to return to the playing area and find another of the same words. The teacher then calls out a different word, and the next child in each team takes the ball and tries to capture a Group 1 child who's holding that word. When all of the children in the teams have had a go at capturing a word, the team who've captured the most wins the game. The Group 1 children who've been holding a card can then be split into teams, and the Group 2 children each take a word onto the playing area, and the game can be played again. The game isn't linked to a specific set of words, so teachers can use whichever words which will suit the needs of their children and play the game on a number of different occasions. There are plenty of words within our resource pack that you can use to play this game, but again, teachers could equally use their own word cards. And it's a capture game that you can play quite competitively, and you can also use it to practice children's ball skills. Okay, the next game that we're going to look at is another rhyming game that makes use of orienteering markers. So it's a game that's designed to be played using the Enrich Education orienteering markers, but you could also adapt the game to be played in other ways if you haven't yet got your school map for orienteering. And it's a game that takes children's learning out of doors with all the benefits that has for children. The games in the physical phonics pack could all be played indoors, outdoors, although most could also be played in indoor spaces, such as your school hall. So they're versatile in that way. So we have a set of objects or pictures in a hoop from at a distance from the children, and at a signal from the teacher, children have to run and take one of these and then find one of the markers that has a picture which is a rhyming match with their picture. So for example, star and car, or tree and key, etc. You could introduce more challenge in this game by having only some of the pictures or objects in the hoop that rhyme with a picture on one of the markers. You wouldn't need to use all of your orienteering markers. You could just use some of your markers at any one time. So the physical phonics pack covers all of the main phonics skills and knowledge that children need to master, giving children opportunities to practice everything from listening skills to using phonics to read and spell words, phrases, and short sentences. It's divided into the following topics: listening skills, activities to help prepare children for phonics teaching; rhyme, games to help children hear and identify rhyme and to match rhyming words together; oral segmentation, games to help children hear and discriminate the separate phonemes in spoken words; letter recognition, games to help children link letters with phonemes and to build up the number of letters that they recognise and know the main sound for; digraphs, games to help children practice recognising vowel and consonant digraphs, including split digraphs; blending, helping children to develop their ability to blend strings of letters together to read, for example, using CVC words; segmenting, to help children segment words into individual phonemes and to select letters to spell them; reading captions and short sentences, to help children practice using their phonics skills to begin to read phrases and sentences rather than just individual words; tricky word games, to help children recognise irregular, high-frequency words quickly and easily, including those which are difficult to get using phonics, and to build up a sight vocabulary of high-frequency words; and phoneme manipulation, games where children are changing phonemes within words to make new words, so quite a sophisticated phonics skill. I hope that's given you some ideas of how you can introduce physical activity into your phonics teaching fairly quickly and easily, simply and easily, without major changes to your phonics program or indeed any changes to your existing phonics program, and also a flavour of what's included in our physical phonics resource. I'm now going to quickly run through our range of options for purchasing products and services so you can see how our physical phonics resource fits in with them. However, please do visit our website to see our full range of products and services. So our option 1 consists of a range of different bespoke maps specifically designed for your school and a set of 15 high-quality orienteering control markers. We allocate a specific member of staff from our team to work closely with each school during and after the production of the school map. The number and letter combinations on our control markers mean that there's an unlimited number of different routes that the markers can be used for. Our option 2 provides the orienteering mapping and markers as set out in option 1, but in addition, schools receive our outdoor learning and active science resource packs. These provide schools with a wealth of fun and engaging active sessions that can take place both indoors and outdoors, and which deliver key elements of the national curriculum for geography, science, maths and PE. The package also includes a set of 60 compasses, which are an essential piece of equipment for your school's delivery of geography, and outdoor learning. And this option also includes our remote whole school training package, which is endorsed by First for Sport and helps engage all school staff in utilising these resources to their full potential. Option 3 is our most popular option, and it includes everything from options 1 and 2. In addition, it also includes the full physical phonics resource pack that I've introduced to you today. The option also includes 10 high-quality phonics orienteering control markers that can be used to complement some of the activities in the physical phonics resource pack. If you've taken part in our webinar today, we're able to offer your school a discount on our option 3 package. So we can reduce the cost of our option 3 package by £80, which is the cost of our physical phonics resource pack. So to finish off our webinar, it just remains for me to say thank you for taking part and I hope that it's been useful for you. We'll have the chat facility running after a finish, and we will try to respond to as many queries as possible today. However, if we can't respond to everyone today, we'll contact you as soon as we can in the next few days. You'll also see our email on the screen, so if you have any questions that arise at a later stage, please feel free to contact us and we'll respond as quickly as we can. Thank you again for taking part, and don't forget that we'll be available now to take queries on the chat facility. Thanks again.